an icebox.
There is no spoon.
What's wrong?
Seriously? Auto-updating now? General, I won't be able to calculate the right data for the satellite for 49 minutes.
How long till impact?
11 minutes and 44 seconds.
Fuck Microsoft!
Well, they call them interdimensional beings.
He specifically asked for you, sweetheart.
By our powers combined, we give you the Galactic Family Podcast.
Put the phone down.
Hello, my name is Nick Pope, formerly from the British UFO desk, and you're listening to the Galactic Family Podcast.
It's probing time.
Hey, how's everyone doing in the Galactic Family Podcast world? Hey, bro. Nice to see you here. Today, we're investigating a serious possibility. Could some reoccurring maritime, put this up here, maritime UAP and USO regions represent persistent underwater operating areas or possibly origin locations beneath the oceans? We will build the case with named witnesses, official testimony, historical records, and repeated locations to where these things are coming out of the water and having interactions with other individuals, other military people as well. Underwater accounts, public military ranges, and independent scientific sensor networks that are underneath the ocean right now that can detect this. All right. And if you would like to be part of the back chat, the link is pinned in the chat there. You can come back here and voice your opinion. Right now, we're going to be looking at the view from space, because that's where we have to begin. Okay, we begin above the atmosphere. Okay, let's get it pulled up here. Hey, Scooby, good to see you. Oh, good. Yeah, join the back chat if you want, Scooby. More than welcome to come back here. I'm just about to show you. All right, so we are going to be starting. We're starting from space. Now,
Bay of Otranto. And this, I believe, is the coast of northern Chile in South America. It's a very straight coast, except for that strange headland out to the top right just disappearing. And so the desert is the first part of the inland zone. And
this is where we start from.
At the top of the picture, the Andes Mountains with
start from space.
Many dozens of volcanoes. And
this is where all the UAP are going to begin to be identified
as well
in this track that we're going to identify ourselves here. So we're starting from space now. We're starting from space. We have sensor networks that are in space right now. All right, this is the next one we'll be going into. All right, so what am I talking about also? Now, where would you look first for anomalous objects in the ocean? Obviously, reoccurring naval regions, water entry regions, sonar contacts, and any instrumented ranges, okay? There's a lot of ranges out there, actually a lot more than I thought. I believe the number came to about 188 different underwater sonar acoustic or other devices underwater to get scientific information about anything moving in the water, underneath the water. So right now, let me get this up here. A little scrambled tonight or today. So if something were operating, right? If something were operating beneath the oceans, where would you look first? Reoccurring naval operating area, a place where it's reoccurring, called the jewelers. I told them about. Oh, good, Scooby. If operate now the location, okay, it's surrounded by instruments. Who controls those instruments, right? Now, the first thing that we're going to look at, right, is the perpetual ocean. Okay, this is a global map of the perpetual ocean in motion of the surface of the ocean currents that we currently have. Shared here. Those vortexes are incredible, by the way. They are just incredible. Stop that music. Yeah, you can see everywhere in the ocean now where these ocean waves are actually heading, the currents. A lot of vortexes within the ocean. So you see it there. That's where we're going to be starting now. Now, ocean-wise, right? So, the instrumented range and everything, right? Now, the reoccurring locations that these are happening at. This is going to be a discombobulated here. All right, moving on here. 3. All right, now look at this. Now, we're not starting with a dot on the screen. We're starting with three kinds of clues. Locations that return across years or cases, reports or objects entering the water or emerging from it. And underwater contacts described through sonar or other, submerged sonar sensors or acoustic methods. When 2 or all 3 converge in the same broad maritime environment, the operating area hypothesis generally becomes, testable, because we can sit there and say, you have things in this area that is anomalous. Then you have the sensors in the area to detect it. Who owns those sensors? Who is capable of collecting the data on those sensors that are in that area becomes very valuable in this investigation. So when all 3 of them are going to converge here, okay, we have the Global Relief Model, NOAA, and we're going to have the House Oversight, UAP hearing, and NAVSEA, Undersea Sensor System network that is all around the ocean. All right, let's dive into here. So the first thing that we're going to show here is the from the days when sailors peered over the deck of their ships with spyglass at the time when unmanned aircraft patrolled the seas. The Navy has kept watch in several notable aircraft like the fixed-wing P-3 and P-8 and the rotary-wing H-60. Unmanned systems like the MQ-9 Reaper and the MQ-4C Triton also patrol the seas. Take a look at the ways the Navy and the people of NAWCAD in the River of Maryland work together to remain vigilant and protect the seas in maritime and in peace.
Seventy 70% of the Earth's covered in water, and all of that's ocean. And the primary job of the Navy is to keep the sea lanes open. And so you find over the course of history, how did our adversaries in the wars, how did they try to control us? Because you control the flow of goods and the control of personnel through the sea lanes.
But you can't keep the sea lanes open. You can't win wars because 95% of our material for fighting overseas comes on ships. We can't be a seafaring nation without maritime surveillance.
Maritime surveillance is a big part of understanding where your adversaries might be, what they are.
And you see what he's talking about here.
From the time when we first said,
he's talking about acoustic. Did you see his title there? Supervisor of Nav Air Acquisition Intelligence Branch. He's
might be, what they are, what their capability is.
And from the times when we first set out to travel the oceans, maritime surveillance evolved with great strides. From the sailors who looked over the deck of their ships to the state-of-the-art manned and unmanned aircraft that do the job today. Fixed-wing aircraft like the P-3 and now the P-8 have kept watch for decades.
The P-3 was the 4-engine turboprop maritime patrol aircraft. It had incredible range. We could do thousands of miles from a remote spot, carry enough fuel to do 10, 12-hour missions. A full array of weapons, everything from torpedoes to mines, missiles. It had a Harpoon missile capability. And as the P-3 evolved, it became the premier platform for not just anti-submarine warfare, but anti-surface warfare as well for enemy ships on the ocean.
The P-8 builds on the legacy of the P-3, delivering next-generation capabilities in avionics, electronics, sensors, and equipment to integrate with other aircraft and ships. It also brings a faster, more comfortable ride to take the platform into the future.
Gotta have comfort.
And on the rotary wing side of the equation, helicopters like the H-60 Romeo lead the way on so many missions.
Anytime a carrier is moving through contested waters, you will always have an MH-60 Romeo, one or more, that is scouting ahead of the group, finding contacts, IDing them, and then sending those down to the warfare commanders so that they can make informed decisions about the movements of the strike.
We play a role called SSC as one of our missions. It's surface surveillance and control, where we use our multi-sensor suite to patrol ahead of a carrier strike group or part of open independent operations on a destroyer in order to see what's in front of the carrier strike group, see what's out there, and then identify and employ upon them as necessary.
And these capabilities serve the U.S. well in non-wartime operations.
The Maersk Alabama, when that was pirated and there was a hostage situation, having a P-3 on station almost 24 hours a day to get that valuable intelligence of what was actually going on almost real time was very important for all the decision makers and the successful rescuing of those hostages.
We do a lot of search and rescue missions, a lot of humanitarian related missions where we can go out and cover large distances. We have the ability to hopefully to find people in distress from a pretty good distance away, and then can go in and call aid.
Some of the MH-60 Romeo's peacetime missions are enforcing UN sanctions against certain countries, as well as providing safety at the seas, where we can also conduct search and rescue missions or look for vessels in distress.
And as we move into the future, a new twist on our capabilities as we watch over the seas. Unmanned systems like the MQ-9 Reaper and the MQ-4C Triton are also at work gathering information for the decision makers.
Unmanned systems are definitely a key component of the distributed maritime operations. With an unmanned system, you can keep that persistent surveillance and swap out aircrew if you have to in mid-flight. So we can fly higher. That gives us a large surveillance for our camera and our radar and our antenna groups. And then we have a very big wingspan, so we can utilize our fuel efficiency and glide for hours on end and not run out of fuel or make the most efficient flying that we can.
I really see the manned-unmanned teaming mission coming into play, basically elevating that maritime surveillance even more without worrying about fuel or bodies in those aircraft. We can use UAVs to accomplish that as well.
From a maritime surveillance perspective, I think the future is unmanned.
We'll always have a presence. We just want to make sure that our adversaries take a look at our unique aircraft, our unique capabilities, and our unique people that operate those, and they look across and they just go, not today. This is not the day that we want to cross that line. And if we keep doing that, then we should stay safe and secure forever.
That's incredible. So underwater species see us long before we get close enough to observe. That is very true, Scooby. Underwater species do see us way before that we're able to observe them. So that was naval warfare operations over in Maryland. And like I said, that's all right. Thank you, Daniel, for being here. If you want to be part of the conversation, you can join us in the back here. This was the, showing the capabilities that these Navy operators actually have out there on the seas that they can link into. Now, going back to what we have here, the next one we will get to is sensor domains. So this is our reoccurring path. Each boundary. Hey, Leah, Daniel. How you doing?
All right. Is my mic working and everything?
Yeah, you're good to go.
Cool. It's because I'm having technical issues on my Mac side of things. I had to rechange my password and everything. So.
No, you're doing fine now. So we're just talking about the different boundaries that UAPs are seen in, going from space all the way into the ocean. And
yes,
what those sensors are, who has them, and who manages that data. Because that's where we're going to get our information from and find out where these actual domains are in the ocean that we need to be aware of. So, go ahead.
My view is, I'm just going to, before I put on my mic, my view is, from my experiences, I know that they camp under the ocean, because sometimes it's better to be undetected than if they're in orbit. It's easier to be undetected under the ocean, and also it's also a good supply for a bit of food, like a bit of food on the side as well.
Yes. Getting there right now. Trying to get to my page now. There it is. Okay. All right. This is the same thing from Maryland, but this is a video from. Oh wait, I did do this one. Nope, sorry. We're going to the next one. Oh, I already did that one. Slide 5. Now, at the space layer, all right, publicly documented systems contributing timing, angular position, radiometric information, and orbital context. Ground-based radars and optical telescopes can track objects near space, while missile warning systems look for energetic signatures. In a cross-domain reconstruction, those measurements can anchor the beginning of the trajectory and supply like timing framework used by every layer that we're going to be going down into. So we have a video here we're going to be popping up. This is... All right, this is a Space Delta 4. It provides strategic and theater missile warning system to the United States or our international partners. It's a, I believe it's a satellite warning system. We're about to find out. All right, let's put it up on the screen here. Add. And full screen.
Space Delta 4 in a nutshell is responsible for missile warning and missile tracking across the entire enterprise. We are the all-seeing eye looking for missile threats that impact the entire globe, not just North America. Space Delta 4 has a myriad of weapon systems to enable their mission. The one that people are most familiar with is the space-based infrared systems, which is our on-orbit assets that peer from the heavens down to the Earth. From our terrestrial base, we have two specific weapon systems, the upgraded early warning radar, as well as the Parks radar up in North Dakota that perform those terrestrial-based sensors looking from the ground up. So the geo assets look from the geo belt down at the Earth, and then our ground-based assets are looking from the ground to the sky, and we see everything in between and characterize it and see this threat.
More than a dozen ballistic missiles hit 2 military bases in Iraq that house American troops.
If you talk about a realistic launch scenario from one of our adversaries, prior to launch, we'll be using Delta 7 to give our indications and warning to kind of prep our operators for that fight. And then once that launch happens, Delta 4 sees that within seconds of that launch occurring. Delta 4 is viewing that from the space-based sensors. So in order for those space-based sensors information to get to CONUS where it's processed, it has to go over SATCOM links and ground links. And those are protected by Delta 8 and Delta 6. In the event that space launch is not a missile threat, we'll hand that mission off to Space Delta 2, and they'll characterize that as a space domain awareness mission. So the resident space object at the point in time, and they'll make sure that those objects are taken care of. And then in the event that it's going to come back into the atmosphere, it's Delta 4's problem again to do re-entry assessments. Space Delta 4 is headquartered at Buckley Space Force Base, Colorado. But then we have our upgraded early warning units across the perimeter of North America, as well as Greenland in the United Kingdom, and then we have satellite relay stations on almost every continent. If anything exo-atmospheric is coming into our bubble, we have sensors basically peering out in every direction from the United States and Greenland and our coalition partners in the United Kingdom to say what is coming into our house, what's coming into our yard, and then we have a plethora of response actions of what are we going to do about it. It's viewing that from the space-based sensors. So in order for those space-based sensors.
So I wanted to back up a little bit because he mentioned something that was kind of interesting. He said that anything that was not that they could determine that was a missile launch or a space-based launch was handed off to another division called Space Delta Awareness. So hold on.
Information to get to CONUS where it's processed, it has to go over SATCOM links and ground links. Those are protected by Delta 8 and Delta 6. In the event that space launch is not a missile threat, we'll hand that mission off to Space Delta 2, and they'll characterize that as a space domain awareness,
a Delta 2. So, and whatever they do with it, he says.
Awareness mission. So it's a resident space object at the point in time, and they will make sure that those objects are taken care of.
They'll make sure those objects are taken care of. Okay. So space domain awareness. Now we have a starting point of who's getting these anomalous reports from space. Yeah. That's it. That's very interesting, actually. I didn't know that.
What does he mean by taking care of?
Yeah, that's a good question. They're taken care of. Just, I don't know. That's kind of like a loaded question right there for him.
Mhm.
Hopefully he can
Because-
answer it though.
Because I just hope it not doesn't mean violently taken care of. That's my concern.
Yeah, he doesn't really mention anything. He just says taken care of. Like, oh, okay. Let's walk that back a minute. What do you mean? Like, I wish this would have been more informative, but that's what we have going on. So in space, we have all these systems in space right now that are sitting there and tracking these objects coming down from space. So we know now, we know now that it's that, like he said, Delta 2. It's space. What was it? What was it again, Lady? It was
I didn't quite catch that one. The only thing that got my ears was taken care of. I was like,
it was space domain awareness, Delta
Yes.
2. That's pretty interesting. So now we have a starting point anyway for this. Now, once we're out of hold on, let me get this out. All right, we're in space. Now, those measurements, right, that they get from space, they can anchor everybody below for that layer. So we have to start from the space-based. And then what we're going to get into after this is atmosphere. In the air, the important measurements are time, bearing, range, altitude, velocity, and infrared contrast. Test ranges are especially valuable because their instruments, clocks, and geometry are built for reconstruction. The same measurement discipline is exactly what transmedium investigation would need. So what we're talking about here is we are talking about an investigation from each layer of space, and now we are in the atmosphere from space. And we've got another person in. How's it going, UFO Report? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are talking about the atmosphere right now, and we are about to go over a video. We are in the atmosphere. All right, this is a target missile was launched from the Pacific Missile Range facility in Hawaii during a flight test, Standard Missile 45. The USS John Finn detected and tracked the targeted missile with its onboard ANSPY-1 radar using the 9-point-C2 weapon system. Upon acquiring and tracking the target, the ship launched an SM-3 Block 2A guided missile, which intercepted the target. So these are different things that we have going on for agencies here. Let's pull this up on the screen. And you can chime in anytime, UFO Report or Lady D.
Hey, bud, just listening in.
Yeah.
Cool topics, though.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. So let's get to the video here. So this right here is the target missile launch. We're gonna go full screen after I press play here. Full screen is working, right, Lady D? When I'm doing full screen, it does full. Okay. So this was a target missile launch, and
what do you mean by full screen? Like if it covers us both,
Yeah.
or is it just in the?
In
No,
the
it's
box.
just showing in the box. In the box.
Yeah, it's supposed to be in the box. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, mine's actually the full screen, so I can't actually see anything. I'm watching these videos just along with you guys.
7, 6.
Standard missile block interceptor. Okay. That has to be going so fast, and they have that going so slow on this video. Oh, there it goes. All right, and here's the intercept. Object. No, intercept. Boom. Okay. You know what the best thing about watching these videos is seeing the capabilities that they actually have that they're not showing us in these UAP videos, because they downgrade it and they de-res it and they put it through, I don't know, like they have a guy. I think one of the videos they released actually was on a computer screen, and the guy was recording it from his phone like this, and they released that video. That is shit. Like, just plain and simple. Like, why would you release that video? Like, there's nothing that you can do from it. So, all right, getting on here. So let's get on here. So, radar. Now in the atmosphere, you have radar, you have EO, you have IR, you have airborne sensors, and you have range tracking, just like what was showed there in that video, as far as them intercepting a missile that they had fired off. So after the atmosphere, what do we have next? Sea surface, right? So move to the sea surface, and we have ship radar, EO and IR. We have patrol aircraft, buoys, and visual observers. So we're going to be watching a small clip of a minute, I believe. Let me, which one is it actually? Yeah, there we go.
Hey, Jay, may I ask a question, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. So as of late, I've been seeing a lot of replays of some older films where where UFOs have intercepted practice missiles. Like, I think one of them, I was kind of surprised, was in the 40s, and there was some person with some electro-optic equipment that could actually see what was going on, and the thing was in the verge of outer space, which that's pretty powerful telescoping or electro-optic equipment for something in the 40s. So I'm curious, was this something similar, or I thought I saw something where it said it was in the mid 2000s, the one that you just showed? Sorry, I missed that.
Oh, no, that's fine. So you are talking about the atmosphere one we just seen?
Yes.
Okay. That one, I can bring it up here again. You want me to read off the description for you again?
No, I could always rewind, but was that recent compared to compared because I know there's some sort of weird thing.
2018.
28. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's pretty damn recent. Okay.
This one was Hawaii, United States, October 26, 2018.
Wow.
By the Missile Defense Agency.
Yikes.
So, yeah, yikes is right. Like and it's funny though. I'd like to get your opinion on this, on this, Jim. Like, if we have a starting point finally from where we can finally start FOIAing these guys to try to get this information, it's great that this guy actually let it slip, that, we need to go to Delta 2, space domain awareness, because they're the ones that get the anomalous cases.
Yeah. All I could say is, for some reason, as of late, I'm being drawn towards this whole UFO and the nuke thing, and it's kind of weird because it's been studied so much, and there's so much information out there, and we've got we've got all sorts of experts that are inquiring about it or have inquired about it, and there's records, and of course Dr. Valet with the work he's done on it. I quite honestly, I don't know what to think, and as far as what these objects are doing to our missiles and stuff like that, I kind of wonder if that's what the push is. Like, let's call it the unofficial word on the street is that people like Skywatcher, Jake Barber, they were, I guess, I don't know if you want to say recruited or whatever, because they were downing different objects. So I guess it's a can of worms, or I'll censor myself and say a cluster F, because it kind of the whole thing is convoluted, wouldn't you say, Jay? Because it's like, there's a rumor we're constantly pulling these down. So they recruited, for example, Skywatcher to help them bring these things down, or the studying other people, for example, L-squared research, to see how can they communicate with other things, how does that work? So it's convoluted. Like, are they only targeting, let's say, the quote unquote bad guys, or they don't want any outside interference with this, or what the hell is going on? It's one big complicated can of worms. So I don't even know what to make out of all of it, to be honest.
It really is, because, and if you think about it, okay, with Jake Barber and those members, right? You're thinking about it like, you're the government, okay? You are the government. You need to go in there and you need to somehow put a break on what they're doing and showing to the public, right? What did they do first? James Fowler, the person who invented the dog whistle technology, immediately they go to him and offer him something, and he takes it and he signs an NDA and he leaves Skywatcher. As soon as he left, that was it. Like, that was their whistle. That was the whole reason why they needed him.
Oh.
So their whole team was poof. Just from one person. And the government did it. And now the government comes in. Oh, now, well, since we have him already, you guys want to come over and help us out with this.
I see. I get it. I see. Yeah. That's how they recruited all the.
Do you want to know what the right hand does or the left hand does? Well, if you need to know what the right hand does, you have to sign this piece of paper.
I see.
And if they didn't sign, they wouldn't be helping them. Now, I'm on the fence about it, because Ross speculates a lot and doesn't put out a lot of documented, credible, like we're doing here, like video evidence. This is the sensor platforms. This is what we have. I'm putting it out there like a documented show. he puts it out there like a soap opera.
Yeah, right,
Sorry.
right.
It's a soap opera because he doesn't come on there and say, here is the document that I got from this person, even though, national security, whatever, I blanked everything out with the national security. Here it is. I know they were doing UAP luring operations over in El Paso. Then I could totally believe it. I was down there in El Paso. I can tell you right now. I can't tell you exactly what my unit did because we did networks abroad and on stateside. But as far as the unit I was in, it was the 204th MI Aerial Reconnaissance Unit out of Fort Bliss, Texas. So you can just guess what we did. And we were all over the place, but we did sensor sweeps. And if anything was going, this is why I don't put a lot of credibility into that story of the luring operation itself, because I've called friends of mine that were in that unit, still in the unit before, still in the area. The unit was never on alert, which makes me suspicious to his story. You don't do a luring operation without a sensor platform to see what you're luring in. And we would be the ones to have it. That's my feelings on it. I don't know, but just my own personal feelings on it.
Yeah, that is unfortunate because he, he's very charismatic and very professional, and
they're great stories.
Yeah, and for UAP news, he comes across very professional and like a regular major network type of anchor, but at the same time, what I get what you're saying, which is he's supposed to be an investigative reporter, and it sounds like he doesn't. I guess the point is, you believe. I didn't actually look into this particular one, but it sounds like what you're finding is that he's not checking his sources well enough.
Yes.
I guess what is your point? Yeah.
Exactly, because if you need to check everything. Like, okay, you have a source come in and say there's a luring operation that happened in El Paso. Okay. Now you need to find out who else was involved in that luring operation. It just wasn't Skywatcher. They had to have other elements and other assets in the area. And the only asset in El Paso, literally right there at that base, is my old unit.
I see.
They have all the sensor platforms. We had the near infrared, far infrared, spectrum planes that went out there. I can't tell you exactly what they did, but yeah.
Right.
But anyway, he needs to do his own due diligence. That's the only reason why I have speculation about the story, is because of the fact that it's not factually checked. Like, you can't check it right now. I couldn't go out there and say, check his facts that he got, because the only thing he comes out with is, hey, I know for a fact because of the fact that someone told me and was really close to me. I can't tell you who it was, but they're very credible and I believe them.
Yeah, he feels, I guess his point is,
he never heard of counterintelligence.
Well, hey, that's a good point. I mean, my thought was maybe he felt that's a good way of, believe me or not, I'm protecting my source. But you wouldn't be as you know, you would not be the first person to say, geez, he's always saying, I have a good source who told me that someone else, blah, blah, blah. You might know that a lot of other people have commented on that about him.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with all of them that come out with Jeremy Corbell. What did Jeremy Corbell tell us the last time a UFO drop came out? Let's hear it from my memory here. I have put out UFO biologic files to hundreds of news journalists. And if the next drop doesn't happen with credible evidence, those journalists, my hands are tied. I don't know. They're going to do whatever they want with it. What has come out from that? Nothing. Nothing. Jeremy actually completely dropped off the radar pretty much after that.
Kind of strange.
Yes. We all need to band together. It's no more trust me, bro. I don't do trust me, bro here. I show the evidence. We went over the lab reports from the metallurgy that we're testing. I go over everything, I'm not going to sit there and read it here and say, you don't see it on screen, but I'm going to tell you what I'm reading. No, I'm going to show you.
That's which is very cool.
Yes.
Some people are afraid, okay, if the story turns out to be a bust, so they believe it, but they're too afraid to look all the way. So they're like, well, I believe it. That's good enough. Perhaps.
I think that is a cause for a poll. Hold on. You got a good one there. New game. Where's Jeremy? Where's Waldo? I love it. All right, hold on here. I'm going to get to the poll. Oh, man, that's a good one. Where's Jeremy instead of where's Waldo?
I thought that's what you were alluding to.
Yep, let's go here. All right, so where's my poll button here? There we go. Start poll. All right, where's Jeremy? The game is where's Jeremy? Game is where's Jeremy Corbell? All right. What are we going to put as the options?
He's getting more tats.
What's that?
He's getting more tattoos.
No, more tattoos. All right, more tattoos. More tats. I want to say abducted. And what do you think, Lady D? Where's Jeremy?
Abducted by my labs.
All right, I put abducted. I got abducted. We need one more. I got, hold on, let me get it up here.
Vacuumed up by Spaceballs.
Oh, I like the Spaceballs one. Yeah. Let's do abducted by Spaceballs. And more Tads, abducted by Spaceballs, and living in a bunker. Let's see what everybody thinks. All right, I'm going to start the poll now. Where is Jeremy? You can vote now. Where is Jeremy? Jeremy is either living in a bunker, got abducted by space balls, or what do you think? Come on. Vote, vote, vote. Vote for your favorite. Let's see here. Where is Jeremy? That's a good one. Oh, we got more tats leading by. Ooh. More tats are leading by a lot. Yeah. Abducted by Spaceballs. Yes. Yes. Let's do it, people. Abducted by Spaceballs. I love it. All right. I'll put this up on the screen so you guys can see it. All right, here's the game. Where's Jeremy? And we have 60% of our audience is saying abducted by Spaceballs, Lady D. I love it. 40% says more tats. And 0% says he's living in a bunker. So he's got to be, he's abducted by Spaceballs. All right, we're going to end the poll here. 60-40. That's probably what we're looking at here. That's funny. So living or abducted by Spaceballs, everyone. That's what Jeremy Corbell is. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, the Bunny Ranch. I should have put that in there. Thank you, Scooby, for that one. So let's get on to the next video here that I wanted to show you guys. This will be a submarine warfare training. All right, let me make sure I got the right video here. Make sure I got the right video here. Yes, I do. No, it's not. Okay. I got it now, though. All right. So this is a standing NATO maritime group 2. Oh, gosh. What do they have here? 9,000 troops. I'm looking at the sensor platforms they actually have. Helicopters. Let's watch the video here. See what they got. Share screen. Share. And play. Oh, they're putting buoys in the water. Okay. That's what they're doing. They're putting buoys in the water. Nice. Okay. That is some of the standing NATO Marine Group 2. Wow, that's pretty cool. Pretty interesting. All right, going back to here. Now, once we exit the seabed or the sea surface, sorry, then we are going to go to surface, underwater. That's what we saw. Seabed. Okay. Oh, no, sea surface. Sorry. Underwater, seabed. Yeah, that's the right one. Yep. Okay. Just had to make sure I had the right one pulled up here. All right. So this one is now, once we get to the seabed, right, we're going to have the pressure sensors, seismic sensors, hydrophones, magnetic and cabled observatories underwater. So
Hey Jay, I apologize. I'm going to drop up, but I'm going to keep watching on TV.
Yeah.
Okay. And thanks for letting me speak.
Oh, of course, Jim. Anytime. You know, you're more than welcome.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll talk to you.
So next thing we're going to pull up here is the seabed. We've got sonar and explosives. So yes, they actually put explosives into the water or something to detect something underneath of it. Let's get this pulled up here. All right. So this is Norfolk, Virginia, Commander, U.S. Fleet Forces Command, sonar and explosives.
Training and testing with sonar and explosives significantly enhances the safety and effectiveness of United States forces in combat. The Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard use explosives to prepare personnel for combat in high-stress operations and to ensure the reliability of weapons and munitions. Types of explosives used during training and testing activities include projectiles, missiles, bombs, rockets, demolition charges, torpedoes, and other explosive charges. Sonar uses sound energy waves to detect and locate submerged objects, such as submarines and mines. There are two types of sonar, passive sonar and active sonar. Passive sonar listens for sound waves, but does not put sound energy into the water. Active sonar sends out a pulse of acoustic energy, commonly referred to as a ping, that travels through water, reflects off an object, and returns to a receiver. Active sonar can locate objects that are too quiet to be detected with passive sonar. Sonar proficiency is a complex skill that requires regular, hands-on training in realistic and diverse conditions. Lack of realistic training would jeopardize the lives of sailors and Marines in real-world situations. The Navy tests sonar systems both at sea and pier site to ensure their reliability and availability. Maintaining and upgrading existing sonar systems also requires periodic testing and evaluation. Previous generation submarines were noisy and could be detected with passive sonar before they were close enough to attack. With advances in technology, modern submarines are extremely quiet and can use their weapons before entering the passive sonar detection range of Navy vessels. Newer generation submarines are operated by more than 40 nations worldwide, and the number of them in service is growing. These quiet submarines, as well as torpedoes and mines, are threats to global commerce, national security, and the safety of military personnel.
National security. It's always about national security. Isn't it, Lady D? So, all right. So now we have the seabed, right? Now, once we are going from here, right? Now, space, air, surface, water, seabed. Okay. Now, the next slide here, we are on slide, what am I on here? 11. Let me get to getting ahead of myself here. Okay. The ocean is already being watched. We have military ranges. We have acoustic surveillance devices, scientific observatories, pressure, seismic, and hydrophone sensors that are underneath the oceans. Okay. The ocean's already being watched. It was, Lady D, like, it was amazing. Okay. If you type in your computer and type in, like, give me all locations of any sensor platforms being used in the ocean, there is a lot, but they're mainly centered around certain areas. There's certain overlapping areas where they're just big bunches of circle sensors there. And you're like, what could they be there for? What are they looking for? Why put them all in a bunch, right?
Most of the time, it's probably, keeping an eye out on, submarines and shit like that.
True.
Boats and enemy, but I'm just concerned. Is when the off-world people, it looks like their hiding space is getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things you can't. Yeah, it's just, it's crazy how this world works anymore. All right, so we are on slide 11 here, and I have another video to pull up here. This one is, if the oceans had actually drained, what would the Earth look like? What would the underneath of the ocean actually look like? So let me get that pulled up on the screen here for you. All right, let me go full screen here, and then we will play. This is if the oceans had drained. So we're draining all the oceans. This is the land masses underneath. And, we have mountain ranges, we have valleys and everything, just like we do up here on land. It's the same thing under the ocean as well. You can see all the trenches, all the different things that are showing up, the mountain ranges, the valleys. If water was a lot lower, that's what it would look like. So plenty of places to build if water went lower. Now, going to the next one here.
Wouldn't be nice to for the fish, if there's no water. My space bum likes to catch a few fish under the sea. So.
See, and you know what? That's it. That's why. You know what? You need to tell your mother to stop. Her appetite for the fish needs to stop.
She doesn't take much,
Well, I want to have a fish here or there too. All right. So the next one we got going on is our first area that we're looking at. Can you guess where this is? Hawaii. First area. So there is, now what should you guys notice in this area of Hawaii? There's a multi-domain range in Hawaii. There's undersea instrumentation in Hawaii, a lot of it. There's a hydrophone network that is in Hawaii. There's also 1,000 square miles of instrumented seafloor right there where you can see it on that circle there for Hawaii. Why? The rest of it isn't covered. And that's not even the main island. So it makes you want to say, what could they be doing there? So let's play. We have the next clip here. Excuse me. This is from Kakua, Hawaii. January 12th, 2024. This is the Pacific Missile Range Facility, Barking Sands, Hawaii. It is the largest the world's largest instrumented multi-domain range, capable of supporting surface, subsurface, air, and space operations simultaneously, with over 1,100 square miles of instrumented underwater range 42,000 square miles of controlled airspace. PMFR supports training events that from like the small units that they have in that area. That's a big training area to have, especially if you've got all those underwater assets there as well. So let's pull it up on the screen here. And let's go full screen. Oh, there's the amphibious crabs. That's cool. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. All right, so that was the Barking Sands. Those are the ones, these are the people that control this area that we're looking at right here. The ones that control those seabed areas. Now, once we move on from this area, hold on a second, let me see here. Let me get to my thing here. All right. All right. Now, the first, it's an offshore. Now, this is what this place is. It's an offshore Pacific Missile Range facility. Publicly documented environment combining air, surface, and undersea instrumentation. Let me see here. Oh, okay. We need this range for transmedium travel reconstruction. It has all the sensors there that we would need in that area as far as the 5 observables are going. The transmedium travel, that is what you would need, and they have the sensors there in that area to detect it. So if we move on now, we're going to move on to our next slide here, which is the Bahamas. The Andor's Island, deep water 3D range, underwater tracking, and acoustic measurement devices. AUTEC is the Atlantic Undersea Test and Evaluation Center, a U.S. Navy facility, and detached to Andros Island. Now, we can travel from Andros Island and the tongue of the ocean. The deep water and controlled geometry make this an unusually valuable place for undersea tests and evaluation. Think of the region as an underwater laboratory whose measurements can be tied down and to known targets and calibrated instruments. Now, these AUTEC combines, what am I looking at here? Manages, AUTEC, ALTAC, is managed through NAVSEA and Naval Undersea Warfare Center, Division Newport. So the official operator trail leads to NAVSEA and Naval Undersea Warfare Center Division, Newport. As the people here that are owning this area, that are going around and finding these UAPs. So we're going to go from the Bahamas. And what do we got here is a clip going in. We got Naval Undersea Warfare Center Division.
The role that OTEC plays in undersea warfare, it just can't be overstated. OTEC feels like you're at the end of what we do here will change the future of undersea warfare.
Atlantic Undersea Test and Evaluation Center down in the Bahamas offers a specific environment for testing. It's a deep water, it's quiet, there's not a lot of merchant traffic, there's not a lot of fish traffic. So it provides you a quiet, deep water environment. We're a T&E range. First and foremost, we're test and evaluation. We're part of the MRTFB, Major Range Test Facility Base. So our purpose is to test out the latest and greatest cutting edge weapons or whatever. And then we do fleet training. So we do a lot of T&E events for undersea systems, submarine systems, air systems as well for anti-submarine warfare, and undersea warfare.
It is a holistic range, so you can go there with the surface ships, with the submarines, with your P-8s, your airplanes, and you can test the whole gamut, and you can test the interplay of everything. It's not just a single platform. You can see the whole show and watch it all in real time.
We're directly beside the tongue of the ocean, which is 6,000 feet. On the edge of the island where it drops off, it goes from 20 or 30 feet down to 6,000 feet in less than a couple of hundred yards. What we do here to train the future COs of submarines, to get them prepared to take command of a submarine, and the things that we're going to ask them to do are critical. The more realistic of a training environment we can put them in now, the more likely they're going to be successful. They need to use that in the real world.
OTEC provides that real-world environment, that real-world situation, and an ability to test systems and components as well as the techniques and procedures that the warfighter is going to use to employ that capability against another manned system or unmanned system, as though they're actually at war in a situation where they use that piece of equipment.
It's a dramatic place that can't be duplicated, and what we do here for the Navy, submarine community, research, test and development, UAVs, sea gliders is probably one of the most important test facility ranges in the Navy, if not the most important.
So that was the NAVSEA Naval Systems Command, Naval Sea Systems Command, the Warfare Center. They're the ones that actually have this area down in the Bahamas. So Bahamas, they have Andros Island, they have deep water 3D range, they have the underwater tracking, they have acoustic measurement devices there as well. And the Navy describes a one-of-a-kind acoustic and geographic environment. So they can do the full spectrum of undersea testing, deep water, calibrated targets, manage instrumentation, and make this place unusual, per se. So now once we go on to the next slide here, go to slide 14 here. You guys might not be able to see this all the way. So it is a pretty much, this is the, where am I at here? Fixed acoustic arrays, okay? An integrated surveillance architecture and a mobile tow array system. So SOSUS was built to detect and track submarines through long-range, low-frequency acoustics. Fixed arrays fed ashore processing sites and created persistent surveillance across strategically important ocean areas. The investigative question is simple. What other energetic or structured contacts may have crossed those acoustic lines? The Cold War listening architecture evolved. Public Navy material identifies theater undersea surveillance commands in the Atlantic and Pacific, connecting a fixed and mobile acoustic elements to organizations responsible for detecting, classifying, and reporting undersea contacts. All right, then we have SARTAS. SARTAS moves the listening geometry. Towed arrays can carry passive acoustic sensing across ocean, the wide ocean, with active capability where publicly documented. Mobility adds another way to compare a reoccurring region with the sensor's actual operating window. So publicly identified responsibility sits with the U.S. Navy and its theater undersea surveillance commands for the IUSS command structure. Oof, that's a lot. They have their, well, and it would make sense because you would have to compartmentalize the information, right? You don't want people finding out. All right, let me see here. We have another video coming up here. All right, did we see this one already? No. All right. All right, so let me go ahead and show you this. This is in Catalina, Italy, 8 nations, France, Germany, Greece, Italy, Spain, Turkey, the UK, and the US, carry out anti-submarine warfare training at the Iona Sea. This involves cooperating between air, surface, and subsurface assets. All right, let's play this one here. Here we go.
Hunting submarines is probably the most challenging job at sea. Many navies have significantly invested in the last few years into these niche capabilities.
Sonar buoys.
To tackle inside the aircraft to drop them to detect the submarine.
We have a friendly submarine and an enemy submarine. Friendly being an Italian. The Greeks today are playing the enemy. We'll fly out with our aircraft and we'll use the sensors to detect that submarine.
British Royal Navy helicopter. We're going in search of enemy subs as part of exercise dynamic anchor.
Game over. That's great. All right, so you can see how they have different assets that they can use to track submarines and different things of that nature. So now, once we get to the next slide here, now science is listening too. Okay. Now, add to the sensor network. Add we're going to add a second sensor network. Okay. Comprehensive test ban. Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization operates an international monitoring system that includes hydroacoustic stations. These sensors are equipped for energetic signals propagating through the oceans. Their value to this investigation is independent, timing, waveform, and arrival information. We also have the cabled Axio C-mount aerial or C-mount array, and it supplies a different kind of witness. Continuous local measurement near the Northwest Pacific. The operator, instrumented metadata, and time series are part of a scientific record designated for long duration ocean and geophysical observation. Ocean Networks Canada operates cabled observatories that combine instruments, power, communication, and long duration data. Their strength is, the currents, temperature, sound, pressure, and imagery can be compared on a common timeline. They can compare their images. Then we have Japan's MOLAS system. And that system integrates dense land and ocean observation. DONNET and SNET placed ocean bottom seismic sensors and pressure sensors into a cabled warning system through the NIED for energetic underwater elements. Like they could, they did that because of the power plant, pretty much, that happened. When the ocean waves came over, they had to hit this network down there to make sure that they would always know if something like that ever happened again. Something in the ocean happens, something drops off, it changes the water level dramatically. Now, who manages these systems? The CTBTO. That's a big one. Ocean Observatories Initiatives and its regional operators, Ocean Networks Canada, NIED through MOAS in Japan, and NOAA and DART, and related ocean the related ocean hazard system. So, getting on to the first video we're going to watch here. Oh, cannot play that video. Wow. Somebody messed up on that one.
Start your roots.
All right, no video. So we're going on that. They gave me YouTube videos instead of the other videos I asked for. So, the people who gave us the places: firsthand military, active duty, congressional, and related military accounts. That's what we're looking at to see what areas we're going to be looking into here. So, first person we talk about is Wiggins, Chief Wiggins. So, we have Alexander C. Wiggins. He is a U.S. Navy Senior Chief Petty Officer. Let me get to his verified clip here. It's probably a YouTube video. And that's okay, because we can play this, actually. All right. We can play the YouTube video because it's from the GOP House Oversight Committee. Let me get it here. Oh, how I wish I had another co-host. All right. This is Chief Wiggins' statement for... Let me get back to my page here. Wiggins, that. Okay, that one. Hold on. All right, let me get to the one that I'm on here. Okay, here we go. Got it. Sorry. All right, now we have a date. Now we have a ship. Now we have a location. So let's go ahead and play what Chief Wiggins actually says in his report to Congress.
In the Whiskey 291 warning area off the coast of Southern California, I was serving on board USS Jackson. During that period, I moved between the Interior Communications Center, ICC-1, and the bridge wing, correlating the sensor picture with visual observations, part of my routine responsibilities for surface and air picture management. What I observed and what our crew recorded was not consistent with conventional aircraft or drones as they appear on our system. A self-luminous tic-tac shaped object emerged from the ocean before linking up with three other similar objects. The four then disappeared simultaneously with a high synchronized, near instantaneous acceleration. I observed no sonic boom and no conventional propulsion signatures. No exhaust plume, no control surface articulation on the Sapphire image system. Shortly after the synchronized departure, radar tracks dropped. These observations were multi-sensor and recorded inside of ICC-1 with time location overlay visible in our source frames that have been made public by journalists. From my experience operating in this region over many years and consistent with our public characterized encounters, unidentified objects reoccur in United States operation areas off Southern California. That fact alone does not tell us what they are, but it does argue the systematic stigma-free reporting and for the preservation of sensor data so analysts can evaluate safe and intelligence implications with rigor.
And that's what we get to right there. Okay, that's the pause of that one. We are talking about Southern California, sensor platforms that are there. We know they're there. Now we have a date. You know, February 15th, 2023. Time was approximately 7:15 Pacific.
I heard that in the chat it says Donald Trump was going to make have a talk tonight. What kind of talk is that going to be all about?
Tonight. I also heard that Trump just signed paperwork. Scooby, thank you, on to start the Space Academy.
To start the Space Academy.
That is pretty interesting. So we have also, I don't want to play all these clips here because everybody's seen these clips so many times. So I'm just going to go through them. If I can get to where I am at. Okay. So what are we looking at here? These are different cases, okay? We already know the cases. We have the people. We have the locations, right? We know where the Nimitz was, Southern California. We know where, we know where David Fravor was. We know where the gimbal was. It's all been said inside of these, Ryan Graves, Tim Gallaudet. And these are the operating actual places that we should look into. North Atlantic Submarine Sonar Account, 1980s, ballistic missile submarines. All right, let me see here. We're on slide 21. Get ahead of myself. That's a good thing, though. All right, so now Gallaudet told Congress, Tim Gallaudet, that an original military witness described a 1980s sonar contact aboard a nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine in the North Atlantic. According to the account, the contact approached at speed and closing rate resembling a Russian torpedo, slowed, and then followed the submarine's wake for minutes and then rapidly departed. Exact coordinates were not placed into the public record, but it was around this area where it happened at.
So which way was it heading? Towards the UK way or down towards the south?
They didn't tell.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, who can get the data, right? Who can access the data? That's why I have Elizondo and Grush up here right away. Lou Elizondo testified as a former Defense Department official and UAP program figure. David Grush testified about protecting disclosures, classified UAP information, alleged retrieval and exploitation programs, and access barriers. The reverence here in these records question, if useful undersea sensor data sit inside compartmented systems or restricted databases, who has lawful access to connect them? The question is operational. If relevant undersea sensor data is classified, compartmentalized or held in mission systems, who has the authority to retrieve them and correlate and brief them to Congress? I believe these two do. These two can. Trump is the guy with the ears. Oh boy. All right, so moving on right now, we have 100 years of ocean. It's like 23, right? Yep. Now, this is a century scale view. The cases differ in source, quality, and reported behavior, but they share maritime geography, island chains, naval exercises, ocean approaches, coastal radar or infrared, government responses, and in modern cases, we have some named witnesses to some of the more modern ones. First one, Shag Harbor. Trinidad entered Brazil's official archive through material concerning a 16 January 1958 observation and photographs associated with a Navy research vessel near Trinidad Island. The archive establishes the government file and the maritime setting. 9 years later at Shag Harbor, witnesses reports of lights descending toward or into the water triggered responses by Royal Canada Mounted Police and Canadian Forces. Library and Archives Canada preserved the case record. We need to put these two cases together. Yeah. Next one is Canary Island. This was during a NATO exercise, main brace, in September 1952. An RAF aircraft or aircrew reported a circular object, silver object, above RAF Topcliffe. The UK National Archives includes the case in its official UFO file history. It belongs here as well. A military exercise and coastal marine contacts case as well. Spain's Ministry of Defense virtual library preserves a 107-page Air Force file on unusual phenomenon reported around the Canary Islands on 22 June 1976. New Zealand released defense files to include the 1978 Kakora mystery, a coastal aviation case associated with visual and radar reporting. Together, these reports show that the modern Navy cases did not even begin to, narrow down this archive. We have so many, and you have everybody sitting there, right? And you have arrows sitting there and saying, well, there's one case of something in the ocean that we could say maybe, right? One, talk about hundreds. They're coming from the ocean. Like, I don't understand why you don't have more. Here's the more modern cases here. This is 27. The modern sequence now has 5 anchors that give us different places in the ocean. The Nimitz gives us repeated detections, a pilot intercept, and whitewater. The East Coast gives us reoccurrence across operational briefs. Omaha gives us a reported water entry. That was when they were sitting there and they saw it and it said splash, 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 and it went into the water. The FI 2025 Aero report gives us another official maritime event off Virginia. Aero's current terminology matters. Maritime UAP covers anomalous detections at or below sea level in a body of water, and transmedium describes transit through more than one domain. Okay. The vocabulary now reaches beneath the surface. Okay. So we're not going to, unless you guys want to listen to the officer. So I can bring it up.
Yeah, we can hear what he says.
Yep. Let me see here. I'll bring it up here. We're on slide 27. Yeah. All right. You want to hear what he says? This is slide 27. Play verified clip. All right. Here we go. Put this up on the screen here. All right, here we go.
Okay. Oh my God, man. Wow. What's that?
Yeah, so that's what he was saying in that video.
I couldn't quite hear what he was trying to say. It was just like,
yeah, he's really yelling into it and stuff. All right, let's go to, we have the next page here. Now, this is the official reported different places where reports have been made. Okay. This is, what am I on? 28. So I'm on 28. So we now have hold on. There we go. All right. The world begins dark. Now, the verified markers turn on. We have Southern California, Virginia, the approximate North Atlantic account region, Shag Harbor, Trinidad, the Canary Islands, Kakakora, Guandilla. What do you notice? The cases are not evenly distributed. Some gather around naval operating environments, island chains, and heavily traveled coastal regions. So we have another, it's going with us again as far as these areas being connected to UAP activities. These are the ones we need to pay attention to the most. All right. Next one. Military. These are military sensor layers right now. PMFR, Alltech, and Southern California Range Infrastructure and the public IUSS and CERTAS architecture add radar, infrared, hydrophones, and many fixed arrays and towed arrays and range tracking into the ocean. So now we know what systems can detect these things in that area.
What I can see is that if you want to avoid all of that, you just go, near the top of Alaska area and you just slipping through there.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt that. All right, so what are we on here? We are on slide 30. Okay, slide 31. We have scientific sensors and operations. These are the scientific sensors that are around the ocean right now. So we have the first layer. Then we're going to have the scientific layer on top of it. So now we add the second institutional layer. CTBTO Hydroacoustics. OOI, Ocean Networks Canada, they were groomed. Oh boy. NOAA, Pressure Systems in Japan's DONET and SNET networks. These systems serve as the treaty, hazard, and scientific missions, creating an independent route. So that's our second layer now on top of it, which if the military needed to, they could commandeer scientific assets in the area for military operations. All right, now we have slide 32. We're almost done here. We're getting close. Slide this is the Southern California, okay? Fix the geography. We have Point Mugu, St. Nicholas Island, St. Clement Island, and the supportable W291 operating area. That sounds like a military operating area. Now, add time. Nimitz and Princeton in 2020 or 2004, USS Omaha in 2019, USS Jackson and Wiggins in 2023. 3 Navy event sequences occupy the same broad maritime environment across 19 years. Turn on the public sensor layer, radar, range radar, EO, IR, telemetry, surface assets, undersea range contacts, and add the names behind it, NavAir and the U.S. Navy. The investigative question is, what systems were active during each of these events and what records were preserved? So that's a good question, actually. What records were preserved in all of this? Virginia. We have different places in Virginia that have ocean. Let me see here. Virginia, chronological. We're talking about Ryan Graves. Reoccurring Navy reporting in 2014, 2015 around W72. Gallaudet describes the 2015 Safety of Flight episode. Arrow's fiscal year 2025 report places another mass maritime domain report off of the same stated location. Add the East Coast sensing contact, naval aviation, and shipboard radar environments, the Public Atlantic Undersea Surveillance Command, NOAA, the Scientific Ocean Systems, and we have an approach now to all these windows that are coming in. Now, the North Atlantic map stays deliberately broad because of submarine testimony. It doesn't really give exact coordinates. Inside that approximate region, public sources identify the IUSS and CERTAS context, NATO maritime sensing, CTBTO hydroacoustics, and scientific observatories. We compare architectures while preserving the uncertainty. The map asks who operates the architecture, which records can be preserved, and how an exact time window can be compared with independent ocean data. Oh, thank you, Scooby. I appreciate that. Thank you for the 5 jewels, Scooby. We're a fan-funded program, just like Thomas and his show is, and all of our funds go to our animal animal rescue research animal rescue. I get my own thing up here. Oh boy. There it is. Animal outreach program to the SPCAs in the area that the animals need their help. They need our help. The last time we came in here, we gave $1,000 to the Danville SPCA and the Danville SPCA Center. Not $1,000, but $1,000 worth of dog supplies, cat beds, anything that those animals needed. And Milkbone, yes, you sent the Milkbone biscuit, Scooby. Thank you. Actually, you sent a Scooby snack. Scooby sent a Scooby snack. All right. So moving on here, we've got slide 35, which is Hawaii enters the investigation through capability. PMFR provides publicly documented multi-domain range with extensive instrumented seafloor and simultaneous tracking across subsurface, surface, air, and space domains. There we go. There's our point of reference to look at right now. So we have the Central Pacific also carries scientific and hazard monitoring systems. That combination makes it the best range window for independent ocean studies. Then we have the Caribbean. This slide is a geographic comparison. AUTEC on Andros Island is a Navy undersea test range. 2000 and then Aguda is a separate 2013 infrared case near Puerto Rico with published Aero reconstruction. So Aero said that this is one of the areas they were looking into. Now, here is the underwater operating area hypothesis becomes testable. Okay. You have possible bases or operating areas. They earn attention through convergence of report density. They continuality, through time, ocean entry or emergence, underwater contacts, multi-sensor observations, bathymetry, known sensing infrastructure, identifiable operators, accessible records of measurable future reoccurrence. No signal dramatic case carries the hypothesis alone. So it's a pattern. We have to come through space all the way down, and we will eventually get to where we need to go and have the people that we need to FOIA get the information from. Now look at the map and keeping the map in the matrix in mind. Now we can ask the question, could some reoccurring maritime regions represent persistent underwater operating areas, transition zones, origin areas, or possible base locations? It's a hypothesis. But if you look at everything that is in those areas, the Shag Harbor, Hawaii, East Canada, all these areas have these multi-sensor platforms that are in those areas. Yes, it's for national security, but it's also for anomalous object detection and probably preservation of those records. Like, I don't know, Immaculate Constellation. Looking into slide 39, who would have the records? The location becomes useful when it leads to an organization. The USS Jackson. Ask which Navy commands preserve CIC radar and Star Sapphire records. For the Nimitz in Omaha, identify ship, the air wing, and the range data custodians that tied to the event window. For PMFR and Point Muga, the public operator trail leads through Navy and Nav Air range organizations. For Alltech, it leads through NAVC, Newark Division Newport for IUSS. It leads to the Theater Undersea Surveillance Commands. For science, it leads to the CTBTO, the OOI, Ocean Networks Canada, NIED, and NOAA. So we're looking at a lot of overlapping agencies here. Where would you put these sensors, right? You choose a region, you would confirm it, synchronize the clocks, and preserve the original data. And you would correlate with other scientific networks and publish the method. Which region should we monitor deliberately first? You know, we have so many. We've got Southern California, Virginia, North Atlantic, Eastern Canada, or Hawaii. There's a lot. All right, so we are on. Almost done here, folks. All right, getting to the end here. Yes, we're getting to the end. We have slide 41, the complete ocean investigation map. When we started tonight, the ocean looked like a perfect place for something to disappear. But now look at the map. We have Navy pilots, Navy watchers. We have active duty sensor chiefs. We have retired rear admirals. We have congressional testimony. We have sensor accounts. We have reports of objects entering the water, interacting with the water. And we have cases separated by decades appearing in some of those same environments that those sensors are in now. So maybe the question is changing. Instead of like asking only whether strange things are happening over in the ocean, maybe we should ask, whether some of those events are coming from it. So if they keep returning to those same places become testable. The witnesses have given us locations. The military has built one sensor layer. Science has built another. Now the next stage is to watch deliberately, synchronize the clocks, preserve the raw data. If they continue to return to the same places, what is beneath those places? That's what we have to ask ourselves. What are beneath these places? And that is the end.
So what is your views of the UAPs? So you don't say that they camp there?
What's that?
You don't say that they camp there because it's a nice place to hide?
No, I mean it could be an origin location. It could be a base. It could be an automated factory. Could be a lot of things. We just need to try to get the data. Like once we have this data and all the sensor networks come together, then we'll have everything we need to go through everything here and find out exactly what we need to know. We have, there you go, space, air, surface, water, and seabed. So if we can get a system together that is synchronized with space, air, surface, water, seabed, we should be able to follow an object from space to the air, surface, water, and seabed, and maybe even subsurface. If we're getting into what they did over in Giza, the Giza Plateau project, where they were using acoustic arrays or something like that. I'm not sure the exact one they used. I'll have to look that up. Anybody in the back, could you look up what the Giza sensors that they use for the satellite to sense the objects that were underneath the ground? Because we could probably use that same kind of sensor network to detect bases that are actually underneath of the ocean, not in the ocean. Just a possibility, but the possibility is out there. All right. I wanted to do all right. Now we're also a fan funded program, like I said. Hopefully everybody had a good time with this tonight. Everybody got something out of it. We're here to help. We're not here to keep the information to ourselves. On that notion, actually, I have an update for you. The update is that we have gotten the sample for the Maury Island incident has been sent out. I've gotten confirmation on that from Falcon Space Labs. The sample for the Maury Island incident has been sent out. It has been sent to, I will get it pulled up here for you guys. I think it's, let me see here. Sent to Professor. Okay, I'm going to have to put this in the chat. That is a very interesting name. So Professor SZYDAGIS. Yeah. I don't even know how you would say that. But Mark has told us that he sent out that sample to the professor. our other sample that we have out with Tim, Anonymous Rex. Awesome guy too. Thank you, Tim, for helping us out with that. He is going to be actually doing a documented video excursion going through our sample and other samples that are in there in that lab that he's going to be testing with Jared Yates over in Utah. And we're going to show these to you here, right here on the Galactic Family, like we did with the research we did on the metallurgy for the first lab report that we got back. And we're going to do it again. We'll show you the second report and the third report and the fourth report. And we're going to put them together, and we're going to find out what's really going on with all these anomalous objects and things out there. We're hitting the ground running, and we're going to start getting things moving. And actually, I do have a tad bit of a little funny story to tell you. And we'll get to the end here. But so, long story short, finally, I will be going up to Long Island, New York, to see the Tedesco brothers' newest, latest, and greatest setup for the Nightcrawler system that they have, the UAP Nightcrawler system. I'm going to be heading up there on September 5th. Everybody set their calendar date, September 5th. September 5th. It will not be a, this will not be a, I guess what is it? Where you're going to see the podcast, and then you can click on it, and it's going to start in like 30 minutes. I'm going to start it on the fly. It's going to be a live podcast on the fly at the location with the Tedesco brothers in the Nightcrawler doing UAP detection operations. Boom!
I hope it goes well. So it's September.
Yes. So that's going to be a great one. So everybody set your calendar date for that. September 5th. It'll be Saturday, dusk-ish time frame. So it's going to be exciting. Can't wait to get you guys involved in that. And, show you what they came up with. Tedesco brothers are, they're great friends of the show. And I can't wait to just get up there and see what they have to offer us, see what they have to offer the community in general. So if anyone has anything else that they would like to say before we end it. Nothing. Lady D, got anything?
What would you like me to say?
Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.
Yes.
And much love and hugs.
Yes, much love to everybody. Lady D, thank you for being here. Scooby, as always, thank you for the Scooby snack. Much appreciated. My pup over here will much appreciate that too. Right? Right, Princess? Come on, up here. There you go. You want to be on TV? Come here. See? There she is. There's my princess. What do you want? Oh, I love you too. All right, get down. All right, guys. I'll see you guys on the fly for the next podcast. Will be on the fly. So, like I said, September 5th. Set your calendars, guys, and wish us luck, man. I just hope we don't run into anything where my legs are paralyzed or something. I'll have a tripod out there or something, and just walk around because I don't know. They told us a bunch of information the last time we interviewed them that was, some of it was actually kind of terrifying and scary. Like, if anybody missed that interview, you can go back on the Galactic Family Podcast, and the latest episodes or the earlier episodes are all in there. We had a great talk with them about the Tedesco brothers and their Nightcrawler system that is just phenomenal. And the second thing to add to that would be our podcast that we had on my birthday, March 12th. Nick Pope, God rest his soul. He came to it and blew everybody out of the water. Especially, though, Somebody though that I want to put out there, Tim Phillips, man. He's a trooper. He's a trooper because he got so much. I wish I had the poop emoji. For actually coming out and telling the truth about something that the government actually used exactly what the Tedesco brothers sensor package states to find and develop their own system to get to downed UAP sites before anyone else. He said that live on the podcast. I couldn't have scripted that. Oh my God. But on the fly, it's wonderful to see you guys here and see everybody in the Galactic family. And, we have our Discord channel also in the back. It's getting back up. It's getting back up and running. Had a little bit of time down. We're still kind of going back and forth, but it's a daily struggle trying to figure out, what's going on with, down in Florida with, my mother's recent passing and all the paperwork that's dealing with, going through that and having to deal with that.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you, lady. It's a lot. It's a lot, especially when the doctors and the hospital and everybody will not tell you anything until the death certificate is signed. And the death certificate has not been signed. And we're going on now a month and a half, going on 2 months for the death certificate to just get signed and how the person was unalived, how they passed away. That's it. That's all we want to know. And we can't even get that information. So, but anyway, my sad story alone. We're doing our best here to keep this going for you guys and keep the content coming. I'm going up there with Tedesco Brothers. I've got also another snippet is that I did get in touch with a couple people from the UAP task force. Yes, that's right. I got a hold of the UAP task force. And I also got a hold of, hold on a second here, Tom DeLong. Yes, that Tom DeLong.
That Tom DeLong.
That Tom DeLong.
Is he going to be coming on the show?
Might be joining us for a podcast in the future. I've gotten an email back from his press and media, and they're going to reach out to me for a future date. Boom!
Is it going to be like a discussion podcast or more like a
interview discussion with audience questions at the end?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, have you managed to get hold of Chris Bledsoe yet?
Not yet. Not yet. It's another that once they're out there, it's very, very hard to get people. Mm-hmm. Tim Gallaudet is having a hard time right now, getting his book out there, getting sales and getting anything back from what he put into it, I guess. And there's other people out there as well. And they're not just, they're out there and they're supporting their family. All this money, they're making, it's not much. You think somebody that's a book published a book, they make, they're making millions. No, they're not making that much money at all. Depending on how much they sell. But it's like everybody gets a piece of the pie. So regardless of what everybody says, keep the curiosity up, look towards the sky, and always, always, always wish for a mystery. wish, because you're going to get it. All you need to do is walk outside and look around. Everything is a mystery out there. I love you guys.
The stars.
Yeah, look to the stars. And to the Stars Academy. Like, yeah, I couldn't believe that. I read that this morning. The press and media from Tom DeLong's To the Stars Academy got back to me. So that will be a great one. We'll be getting back to you on that. And like I said, thank you guys for tuning in. This is the Galactic Family Podcast. You can also go to our Discord channel where we have research groups. We have CE5 contact groups that are actually making contact, making a difference. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful day, guys.
Thing is real. It can't be.
I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program.
There is no spoon.
Let me be clear. UAP are real. Advanced technologies not made by our government or any other government are monitoring sensitive military installations around the world.
UFOs are as real as the airplanes flying overhead.
Hello, my name is Nick Poe, formerly from the British UFO Desk, and you're listening to the Galactic Family Podcast.
The signal has been received. The truth is still unfolding. The signal will continue with you.